Hey, my name's Vidalian, and this is going to be my first episode over Oxygen Not Included, which is a colony sim game where you get to control your dupes to do whatever you want. In this case, I want to actually control them to win the game for the first time. I've never done the colony imperatives of establishing a proper base or escaping, but we can go more into that when we actually get into the game for the first time. So, to start off, we're just going to go with the basic survival mode, the standard, on the Terra asteroid. I've actually not played the game recently, or at least not on a recent asteroid, so all of these story traits are really new to me. I'm gonna have to figure that out as we go. And while we're loading in, I guess I can give a bit more of my credentials, if those even matter. So the furthest I've gotten is really getting into steel and plastic production, and exploring a bit of like the cooling loops and all that fun stuff. So, to start, I think I'm gonna go with. Actually, I'll give myself a little bit to figure that out. Alright, so I think I've got all the dupes I want. I wanted to start with a digger who also had a little bit of construction. And the grease monkey's nice. That may not be too big of an issue. Got a researcher and a machinist for later. I want to try setting up more supplying, that way I have dupes running less. One of my biggest issues is I always have such huge travel times, and I think it's just because I spend so much time delivering stuff to places. Really the only thing you really need to look out for with your dupes is whatever negative traits they have. Depending on the negative trait, that can just make your dupe completely useless, so you have to always be mindful of that. I think with that, we're going to start. Alright, and I don't think there's much that beats the beginning of an oxygen. We're going to pause it actually right out of the gate to make sure we don't waste anything. I don't think there's much that beats the first start of a save. Completely untapped potential. So, the first thing I'm really trying to be mindful of is what I want to leave intact for a nature reserve. I think this right here would probably be a pretty good one. This right here too isn't bad. It's got all that algae. I think we're gonna mine out to start. I'm gonna try to. We might go with this, because this stuff will stay. We'll see. I think first things first is we need to get access to water. So, we're going to dig out a little bit just to get some resources to start. Just a little bit on both sides. So, as for the colony imperatives, we have, I believe there, right here, the Great Escape and Home Sweet Home. You can also find them on the printing pod. So for Home Sweet Home, survive 200 cycles, maintain 60 morale, print 12 duplicates, and build a Great Monument. That Great Monument's the only thing I haven't done, and the only thing that stopped me is I didn't have any glass, so I'll also have to make sure to get glass being produced at some point. The other thing is the Great Escape, which is breaching the temporal tear. I've never done that because I've never even gone into space, but that'll be an issue much down the line. Alright. So, I'm going to have us start digging down, and we're going to put in a Chihuahua. We'll put it down here, actually. We can reach a little further down. Also want to add in... Maybe make this go a little lower in case someone gets stuck down here. Hopefully they shouldn't, but... better safe than sorry. I have a habit of actually saving someone if I have a deep dive. I'm going to try to avoid that this time around. If someone dies, someone dies. That's how it goes. But I'll do my utmost to try to make it to where they don't. Alright. So... I think with that, we're going to keep going out this way, and I want to set up my bathrooms and sinks to start. We're going to have to get some tiles. We'll fill those in as we get these plants harvested and out of the way. For now, actually, though, we're just going to do this. This is free food as far as we're concerned, so we just want to harvest all of that. One thing I'll want to do, too, is pool all this water into one massive pit. We'll worry about that as this one starts running out, because there's still plenty of water over here and here. We're going to set these to right, that way when they go in the bathroom, they use them only on the way out, and not on the way in. I just wanted to dig this out to make sure that no one gets stuck down here, which these people are about to. Didn't think they'd jump up. Set that to right. Now I want to make sure to get this set up immediately, because I've had many issues where I end up peeing in the main water reserve. It's not the end of the world if that happens, but it's never a fun time dealing with it if you don't have to. Actually, I'm going to set up some ladders. Well, I guess we don't need to. Just keep mining that out. We should need to keep them busy, that's the big thing. Time is a resource and we don't want to waste it. Next thing's next. Yeah, I think we definitely want to leave this. This is I cancel the harvest on that, we will lose that muck root, but that leaves these 4 plants here, and that'll be perfect for our nature reserve. Especially since they're all so close together. There are methods we can use to make one artificially, but it's easier if you can just leave one in place. So I think since we're going to do that, we need them to actually pass through this area. This won't be foolproof forever, but I think I want to set up our bedrooms over here. Actually, let's get these down first, so... we know what we're doing. I think what we want to do... we really can only do a barracks right now. We don't have any decor items or any of the special beds. Thankfully, I doesn't really care about how many beds we cram into there. So, I think what we're going to do... we're going to do about 3 beds per room, on the off chance I do want to upgrade how this is. So, we'll do... I want that there. We'll put a park sign there. I think we'll do that. That. A little more than we need now, but we're setting up for future decks that we get later. Oh, I don't even have a way to get up there yet. Well, let's do that. Going to... oh, sand might be a little annoying. I don't think it'll be too bad, but we don't want to just let it sit. I think we'll want to get that eventually, because there's something good in there waiting. Alright. sadly, I don't think they're gonna finish it in time for their first sleep. But at least we won't have any accidents. Alright, with that, that's the start of our second cycle. So first thing we want them to do is to finish this bedroom so they don't get that sore back debuff. Makes them just a little bit slower. It'll also give them a bit of a morale boost. I think the next thing we want to be doing, though, is starting on our research. Research is what really allows us to get into some of the core parts of this game, so we don't want to wait on that for too long. So to start, we're going to put that right next to the printing pod. We're just going to keep this as short as possible to use as few resources as we can. Actually, we'll move this one over just so we have enough space for a second battery, and then eventually a smart battery, and move on to that. Yeah, I'm just checking around. Nothing too interesting so far. Actually pretty lucky we don't have a geyser just right next to our printing pod, so we don't have to worry about heat or anything like that immediately. We're already starting to get idle. It's terrible. Alright. So, now that this is all built, I think this is a good time to start messing around with priorities. We'll get to all that other later, as it becomes relevant. So, first off, toggling, I think for everyone, we can just set it to very high. That's just if I want them to open a door or something like that. It's always at the top of their list. It's usually an easy enough thing to do, so I'm gonna get that done. Alright. So, for priorities, we want to make sure, first, let's just disallow it for everyone. That way we can only have Nicola doing our research for us, since he's the best suited for it. Other than that, for right now, we really don't have too many specializations we'll need to focus on. That'll become more relevant as we start getting more dupes, but we can just set that up for now. That way only Nicola does our research. And to start, I want to get us those farm tiles. So, he'll start working it, and Perry's powering it up for him, and he should just fly right through this, given his researching skill. 400 times, or 400% speed. Oh, we need to keep these ones busy too. You know what? I think let's start pooling all of our water. That way we just don't have to worry about it too much in the future. I'm gonna make this as low as it can go. That way it all just keeps flowing in this direction. Get rid of all of that. And then... might be better to come from this side, too. Have a better chance of just flowing straight down. We'll use some ladders to start, but we'll change these to tile eventually. That way you just have something to do. And nice, we already got our first barracks, so that's giving us a little bit of morale. Doesn't matter right now, but it's nice to have. Reminds me, we need to set one up here actually too. Set the priority a little higher, that way they focus on it. Not like they have too much else to do, but it helps. Well, these cycles really go by fast, don't they? I think we can start messing with their schedule too. They really don't need that whole... We'll wait till it gets past it first. Alright, they really don't need all of that time to take care of their needs. I think. Yeah, and that'll give them even more morale to work with. I didn't think they'd be digging that up. I think... we might have to make use of this one then. You really want to be getting that. If we really want to be getting that nature reserve, we're probably going to have to make use of this space right here. Because I've already destroyed a lot of the rows of plants. Not like there's much to begin with. Could work with this too. The room itself doesn't have to be straight. We could just have a little space that holds all the crops for us. Oh well. And we just keep digging on that out. Really, we just want to be expanding around too, so we can get a good idea of what's going on around us. It looks like they're done with their research already. They do it so fast. Right. I think next we're just going to go for the supercomputer. That way it opens us up for all the other kinds of research we want to do. So we can really just start queuing stuff up and set it and forget it. I'm not too worried about what kinds of research we want to get, because we're going to get it all eventually. But as we need something, we'll get it as it becomes relevant. I know running on the Ham Studios actually used to train them in their athletics. I don't know if it still does that anymore. Any bit matters. We really want them to have good athletics, that way they can just get around the base faster. Like I said, I always have issues with them spending too much time on travel, so the faster they are, the less time they'll spend traveling, hopefully. He's already done with that. We may not need a researcher for much longer at this rate. We can't get the nature reserve yet. I think we'll start with this, and we'll also... Oh, we already got our first dupe. Or our first printable. Let's see what it is. These are actually some pretty interesting dupes. The negative trait isn't too bad. Not the greatest, but it's workable with, and it's kind of countered by this. Actually, no, it's not. It's made even worse. Whereas Emil here has both decorating and farming, and green thumb, with Night Owl. Narcoleptic's a little bad, but I don't think it's too big of a negative trait. We want to get into farming as soon as we can so we get renewable food. So, I think Camille will be our farmer. And with that, since she's our first printed dupe, she'll actually already have a skill point. think right now, actually, we're gonna hold on to it until we get some of our systems set in place for her. We'll see if we need it for anything else. I'm surprised that little guy isn't drowning. I hope he won't. Oh. You can't wrangle him. I think this might just be the first barbecue of the run. Not barbecue, but... yeah. Well, at least the water will do it for us. We're already contracting hypothermia, that's great. Oh. Going all the way over there. It'll fade soon enough. It won't be too big of an issue. Oh. We are, however, starting to run out of food here, though. We've only got food for a couple more cycles. The muckroot will actually do pretty good for us, but we do need to think about getting food set up first. And I think we have, at least for the basic farm tiles, which will be fine for mealwood. I might actually get those set up now. I think we'll have it right next to the water. That way they don't have to go too far. Oh, that's not good. Okay. We're gonna see if we can resolve this before it gets too bad. Actually, I think it was just long enough to stop it. That's perfect. We already contained the first little bit. The issue is this is going to start off-gassing, but it shouldn't be too big of an issue right now. I guess they can't reach over there, can they? We don't want to set up too many of those just yet. We'll just want farm tiles. Set up. Let me check, actually. This isn't going to be our only food option, but I want to know how much we're getting for the mealwood. Only about 5, I think, per dupe. This is just going to be a supplement, so I think we'll set up 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we can go a little more, since we have a farmer. About 15. And we'll prioritize the ground, that way they have something to walk on. He's already on fountain 2. Let's actually go for this interior decor. I think we want to get our Great Hall set up next. And we need some kind of good decor item for that. I don't even know how they've managed to get themselves here. I guess from the Oxalite. Yeah, I just want to get some of the basic research out of the way, but after that we can let Nicola just talk about her own basic normal. The base is already actually getting pretty wide. I wanted to set up a carbon trap for the ration box. I think we would want to do that next to the Great Hall anyways. Could leave this too. For a nature reserve. Oh no, we can't because that Oxalite's gonna off-gas. And then someone's gonna pull up the muck root and... oh. At least we know we can get rid of it. I think then... we're gonna set up... oh, we can actually catch this carbon dioxide right here. We're gonna do that so it hopefully just falls straight in. And have one. Dig that out. And we're just gonna set up... where are you? A couple of mess tables with a water cooler and a flower pot. We do want to leave some room to grow, so I think once we start getting more dupes, I think this side we'll leave pretty empty for now. We're gonna do 5. Go up to a... oh, we'll have to uproot these ones. It is free food, so it's a shame, but it has to be done eventually. And we'll just break into this. Get that sand to fall down. I'm also going to start setting up our wood. We won't be too reliant on this, but I just want something so we're not immediately stressing out about what we do and don't have. And that might actually be a good time to look at the oxygen overlay. Since we're staking on some more dupes, we want to make sure we're not using more oxygen than we're producing. Right now, we're not producing any, but we should need to keep an eye on it before it gets too bad. I think the next research we're going to take actually can be sanitation. We want to get this loop setting up. Well, plumbing first and then sanitation. If we can get this loop set up, we'll be basically producing infinite water. Or we'll be water positive on that whole cycle, and then we can start feeding our thimbleweeds. I think now too, since we have a couple, and since we have a dupe who's more fit to working at night, I think we're going to want to make 2 different schedules. So, one. Just going to get these started, and as the base becomes bigger and bigger, we're going to have to give them a little more downtime, but I think we'll start with 3. Actually do. Then give them one to start, and we'll have to move these around as we see fit. That'll just be a we'll see moment. Move Camille and Hay to this schedule. It does mean they will sleep again, I think. But a little bit of extra sleep won't kill anybody. This way we just always have someone who's constantly working and something's always being done on the base. We're gonna want to move her so she gets to her actual bed. Yeah, she's already got full stamina. I think actually if we move her now... Okay. Oh, that would get down the water cooler. Get our flower pots. 5 there, 5 there. We need to uproot some of this first, so we should need to let them dig. Can also have Camille have a more focus on farming. That way she can be the one who actually tends to these and harvests them better. So yeah, over time this will start collecting carbon dioxide and that'll keep this a sterile environment so our food will last a little bit longer. I'm actually gonna deconstruct this so I just start putting stuff over there. We'll keep it a pretty high priority so they want to do it. What I really want to get going is some bristle blossoms. And we're going to disable this building, that way we don't actually waste water on it. We don't want them drinking that water, and we can use it for other things. We need to get a little bit of metal ore so we can make our door. And the sooner we can get this room, the sooner we'll get that big fat morale done. Prioritize unlocking that in. We've got enough tables for them to be able to use it, so the rest of them can just be built later. Oh, she might be stuck. Alright, so with that, that's a great haul. We're probably already getting a nice old morale chunk for each of them. At least not till they use it, I guess. They're all starting to get their first skill points, so I think we're going to give hard digging to Otto. We'll give farming to Camille. To start, I think we're going to give Pei the improved carrying because it's going to help us get the mechatronics later, but it'll also get us that suit wearing, which is really important. And for him, we're going to get research. But I think with that is a perfect place to end this first episode. I'll see you all next time.